You've probably heard the expression that culture eats strategy for breakfast. The biggest influence you have over your company's culture is the type of leadership that you place within it. Traditional top-down command and control leadership methods are rapidly becoming the dinosaurs of modern business. So what are you doing to keep up?
The challenge I think we face as conscious leaders in the 21st century is to make the transition from a mindset of managing organisations to a mindset of managing networks of passionate people. There is an analogy perhaps in the way that we think about the brain. We've spent the 20th century with a very left brain paradigm. It's been about data, it's been about analysis, it's been about return on investment. But as we move further into the 21st century, the right brain, the part that actually looks at the holistic element of what we do, the bit that actually relates things to each other and takes into account all the stakeholders, including the environment, comes much more into play. So the 21st century conscious leader finds himself in a place where they've got to have authenticity and integrity, they've got to have a sense of purpose, and they've got to have the communication skills to be able to convey all this to the people they lead. So the challenge that they face, I think, is not so much to try and provide answers as to try and provide the exciting questions that will energize and empower the people they lead.
Conscious leadership is about recognising that through our beliefs and our behaviours that we impact the ecosystem in which we operate. Once we have this fundamental awareness, we can make very deliberate decisions in the knowledge that whatever we do has consequences which are both positive and negative. It's important today because we have a generation of talent that intuit this stuff, and they're growing up into a system and an establishment where it's just not the norm. There's far more individuals in leadership positions who don't practice conscious leadership than do, and that's got dire consequences for our future generations.
For a number of decades, business leaders have been operating under the Darwinian paradigm of survival of the fittest, engaging in ruthless competition, taking reckless risks, wreaking havoc in their organizations as well as destroying economies for the sake of maximizing shareholder value. In order to create value for society, organizations need a new breed of leadership. Leaders committed to the principles of being, feeling, listening, perceiving, before doing and achieving. These leaders are referred to as conscious leaders.
Conscious leadership to me is about leaders thinking in the right way and acting in the right way. Leaders cannot act in the right way if they don't think in the right way. Conscious leaders have a high level of self-awareness. They aspire to lead conscious cultures. They lead cultures of respect. They lead with humility. They also have a unique understanding of the systemic nature of their organization and also the role the organization plays in society as a whole. I think if the last 5 years have taught us anything, it's about the interdependency of the world and organizations' role within that. So I think the conscious leader is now a leader that has self-awareness, systemic understanding, creates a conscious culture, and leads with a level of responsibility and moral compass.
Conscious leadership for me is about awareness and responsibility. A conscious leader would be much more aware of what's going on for them internally, their physiology, their thoughts, their feelings, and also their sense of higher purpose or meaning in their lives. In addition to this, a conscious leader would also be much more aware of their sense of identity, those thoughts and beliefs and values that make up our sense of self and the story that we tell ourselves about who we are. A conscious leader is much less likely to take that so seriously that they get defensive about it. And so as a result, they tend to show a lot more self-management and a lot more emotional intelligence. They're able to choose how to respond to an event rather than simply react to it. And because they are less contracted around a particular position, they're much more able to see the system around them. So it's almost as if they're able to zoom out from where they are and see how things are interconnected and how interdependent everything is. And they're also able to see how the actions that they take have consequences in the world around them. So as a result, they tend to feel a lot more responsible because they can see how if they do something, there's a particular effect as a result of what they do. And that leads to a much greater sense of responsibility.
As well as awareness in emotional intelligence, we can think about how that enables us to manage and indeed to lead. So when we're aware of ourselves, aware of how we are, we're better placed to manage ourselves, to work with ourselves, to work around our weaknesses, to work with our strengths, to make shifts and so on. When we're more aware of others, we're better placed to manage our relationship with them.
Conscious leadership is what the next generation of employees demand. Without it, you're likely to lose your best talent.
And for me, conscious leadership is about paying attention to the thoughts and actions in our day-to-day life. It's about asking challenging questions, both of ourselves and those around us. Questions such as, are we doing the right things for us today, but also for those that we have obligations for tomorrow, next year, next century.
It is about you leading as only you can. It is about you being comfortable managing your awareness and connection with yourself and with others and with the situation in order to flow with it as it inevitably changes and as you learn things about yourself and others as they go. All leaders should be able to live what they believe to be true. That's fine. But to really live what you believe to be true, you need to understand that as you live that truth will change as you learn, as you grow, as you evolve. So this living what you believe to be true is not a destination, it is a continual journey of discovery, of experience, of growth and evolution, through which you as a leader will be able to provide benefit for yourself, for those you lead, and for the community, be it a business or a social community, that your leadership and your team affects.
Thank you.